This side of the paper is on evaluating functions. So here's what we need to know. This is a function. The name of the function is g, and what this function does is it takes an input, an x value, and multiplies it by 5, and then adds 4. That's what the function does. So, and then this function is f, and it does something, a little different. This says, use the f function and plug in -5. So watch, I'm going to take this f function, right? And my f function is -3x minus 7. And I'm going to take, instead of x, I'm going to plug in -5. And then I'm just going to do the math. This is negative times negative. That's positive. This is positive 15. Bring down -7. 15 minus 7 is 8. And feel free to use a calculator for this part of it. Okay, so in this case, 8. This is, use the g function and plug in -3. So I'm going to go get the g function. The g function is 5 times x plus 4. And instead, I'm going to plug in, instead of x, I'm going to plug in -3. Okay, so now 5 times -3, -15. Bring down plus 4. And then -15 plus 4. I have 15 negatives, 4 positives, so I have 15 negatives and 4 of them are going to cancel. So I'm going to be left with a total of 11 negatives. Okay, now this last one. Notice there's 2. What you're going to do is you're going to do this first, f of -5 first. Now look, I'm going to do it again, but notice I actually already did this one, right? So f of -5 is I'm going to plug in, right? I'm doing the inside first, and I get my answer, same as up here, 15 minus 7, it's 8. Now, that means this number is 8, so now what I have is g of 8. So I'm going to get my g equation, 5 times x plus 4, and plug in 8. Okay, so that's 5 times 8, 40 plus 4, and that's 44. Notice I didn't box this answer. That was just my halfway point. I plugged into the inside one, and then I plugged what I got into the outside one. Down below, it's the same idea, but now in a graph. But same, which is that inside the parentheses is the x value, and what it equals is the output, the y value, right? We have an input and an output. So this says, when my x value is -4, what's my y value? So I'm going to go on the x-axis, right? The x-axis is right here. I'm going to go to -4, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up and down. I'm looking for where it hits the graph, right here. And then I'm going to look and say, okay, what's the y value right here? And in this case, it's 8. Let's go to another x value. For the x value, the x value of 3, if I go to 3, look, my graph is actually sitting right here. What's that y value? Come over here to the y-axis. That y value is 0. And one more example, if I go to an x value of 2, look up and down, look for my graph, it's right here, and my y value is +1. Okay, go ahead and try your right side of this paper.